from around the world. Welcome to Weekly Insights with me, Dorothy Attema. I am a confidence coach. I have been doing this for about 2 years now. And today I'm going to tell you why I do what I do. Welcome. I grew up in Kenya and had a very happy childhood. But my story begins when I was 18 years old. Like any young person, I decided to experiment with drinking, smoking, and partying. And when I was 19 years old in my gap year, my father, one morning, saw me coming home after partying the whole night. He was so shocked and he was convinced that I had bad influence from bad friends. And the solution for that to him was to send me away. He sent me away to live with my uncle more than 300 kilometers away from home. I was traumatized and shocked by this decision. And I experienced it as rejection from my dad. Now, studies show that our brains prioritize rejection because we are social beings with a basic need to belong. So when you're disconnected, the feeling adds to the pain of rejection, and most people, then you respond in aggression and anger. And also studies show that the brain parts that are activated when you break your leg are the same brain parts that are activated when you're rejected. Rejection is the most painful pain that a human being goes through. So, and what the also studies show is that when you break your leg, you can forget about that pain after some time. But the pain of rejection, people relive the pain and re-experience the pain vividly long after it has happened. So you can imagine with this pain of rejection at age 19 or what impact it had in my life. Anyway, fast forward. 21 years ago, in 2000, I went to work with an organization which was a humanitarian organization which was working in Southern Sudan to alleviate suffering for the poor in Southern Sudan. And 3 unexpected things happened in a span of 2 years working in that organization. I broke my own rules as a professional. 3 rules that I had strictly kept all my life. Rule number 1, I had said I will never have an affair with a colleague. Rule number 2, I will never, ever have an affair with a white man or marry a white man. Rule number 3, I will never, ever leave Africa. I was among the few privileged who were educated in Africa, and I felt it was my calling to remain in Africa and die in Africa, helping the poor. So fast forward. In these 2 years, exactly like you guessed it, I fell in love with a colleague who was always seated next to me during team leadership team meetings, always supporting my agendas, and we became very good friends. Yes, and as you guessed, he was a white, broad-shouldered guy from Friesland in the Netherlands. And what we did not expect, the two of us, we never anticipated the reaction of the white community in the organization, who are making up 80% of the leadership team. It seemed by the announcement of our engagement, it seemed to some of them that was a taboo for any one of them to decide to marry a native. To others, it seemed it was such a disgust. And others tried very hard to break us, to make sure that it doesn't happen. It was something we never anticipated. And within those 2 years, when the contract, my husband's contract was up for renewal, it was stopped abruptly 2 months to our wedding. And that was another shock for me. I was shocked. I was traumatized. I actually experienced it as rejection. Personally, I internalized as rejection. But anyway, decided, who can stop love? Solomon says, love is invincible, facing death or danger. He says that no torrents of rain can put off the fire of love, and no flood waters can drown love. That was our love. Nothing could stop it. And so got loved and got married. And 2 years later, it looks like all the doors for my husband were shut. And it was such a struggle for us, because what next? We both believed we were called to die and work in Africa helping the poor. So it was such a struggle for us. And in the end, when he became so unhappy after 2 years without getting anything to do, we were both felt a conviction that we needed to relocate. So yes, I broke my third rule. I relocated to the Netherlands. And that's where now the real story begins. The first day I came to the Netherlands, in 24 hours, I was supposed to record to this municipality where we were living to get my residence permit, because all the other paperwork had been worked. So all I was supposed to do is to show up, show my identities, and pick up my residence card. But for me, it wasn't that easy. Immediately I showed up, the officer in charge wanted to change my name. She had a specific mission that she wanted to change my name. Now, we had been married in Kenya, and in Kenya, traditionally, for me, it was important that after getting married, I dropped my father's surname and took my husband's name. And so I had my husband's surname, and this officer had an issue with that. She felt that I needed to change my name back to my father's name. And this I experienced personally as tampering with my identity, because this was my new identity. I was a married woman now. I'm a traditional woman. And yeah, it was really shocking. And what was shocking is that it did not matter how I tried to argue. I tried to show her my passport. I showed her my insurance, medical insurance cover I had, because I had bought an international medical insurance. I showed her my papers to show you cannot change my name now on this card, because then that person doesn't exist. This is the person that exists. So I experienced this, and I was just beginning to come to grasp the weight of the decision I had taken to leave my career, to leave my country, to leave my family. I was just starting it was just starting to dawn on me what I had done. I had not even started to grieve, the process of grieving about everything I had left behind, the foods, the smells. You can imagine. I had not even started that. And now I'm faced with this. And I made conclusions out of this trauma and shock. I made the conclusion that, first, I'm not respected because she's not even listening to me. Secondly, I'm not valued. Thirdly, I'm not wanted here. That's quite a shock in the first day. And I went immediately into what is called distressed culture shock and insecurity. It is the highest level of culture shock that you can experience. And because of that, I started seeing everything in the lens and in the filter of what I experienced that first day. So I was very aggressive. I was very angry. And I had a lot of resentment for the Dutch people and the white race generally. And because of that, I had I got a job, a very high job. I was coordinating networks with an international organization, coordinating networks in Pacific, in Middle East, Asia, Africa, Balkans, and Caucasus. So I started. I loved my job because I was helping women, but I could not experience joy or gratefulness. I was so irritable, easily triggered, and to retaliate this anger and the injustice I felt, I became such a persecutor. And the worst thing is I was so negative and so critical. And I will tell you this, which I know you already know. When you're negative, you attract all the negativity of the world. Every negative person was lined up for me when I was going out to work. I had horrific experiences with racist people and critical people. When I shared with other brown people or Black people, they looked at me like I was exaggerating or talking about something, like I was lying, because none of them had experienced what I'd experienced. Because I was so negative, I attracted the most negative people. And of course, I had a lot of reactions. I had a lot of emotional instability, very volatile. So you can imagine my experiences, and it became just like a spiral in my life. My life was just getting unmanageable. At work, I was not the best colleague. I was I was so easily I lashed out to people so easily, especially if I thought you were being discriminatory, or you had an attitude. I was very easily triggered. I would lash out. So people sometimes were walking around me like on eggshells. And in all this, I had such a workaholic disposition. I worked so hard because I wanted to prove everybody wrong and to show everybody I'm the best. So I worked so hard. And of course, I was running away to try and numb my pain also through work, anything to keep me away from dealing with my issues. So I worked so hard. And when working only was not enough, I enrolled in online courses. When that was not enough, I actually got addicted in social media. So I was doing something all the time so that I just don't have a pause, so that I have to deal with the issues that were spiraling out of control in my life. Until even in my own marriage, things started going downhill. And I knew at a certain moment, something has to give way. This cannot continue like this. And so I looked for help, and I got help in a group coaching therapy, which I followed, and I got well. And then I realized, after I got well and got to know what was the problem, I got to realize how big the impact of emotional wounding from rejection had had in my life. It had stolen and eroded away my self-confidence. I had victim mentality. It had eroded away my identity in who I am and what I'm able to do. It had taken away many things from me. And I had so many character defects and hang-ups. And they say people who have pain cause pain. So I had pain, was causing pain to other people, and then it was coming boomeranging around back to me and causing pain. So I was just this ball of pain, and it felt like I was bleeding on the inside, and something had to stop. And when I got the healing, is when I realized just how much impact emotional wounds can have in our lives. And that's why I do what I do. Because if I could get well completely, it was like night and day. After 5 years of never experiencing joy and being in depression without knowing that I was in depression, I was able to experience joy, got back my self-esteem, believe in myself. And it just shows that no matter what is the cause of you losing confidence, everybody can get well. You can get back your confidence. You can get back your self-esteem. You can get back your identity. You can get back the belief in yourself to go after whatever you want. And that's why I do what I do. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button to show that you liked it. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and hit on the notification button so that you get to be the first to know when we have a new release of the weekly insights.